Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another DC review, and in this DC review I'll be covering Detective Comics issue 1077. We also have the Green Lantern issue 5, but I'm also there for the backstory by Peter J. Tomasi. And last but not least, we have The World's Finest Teen Titans by Mark Waid. I'll now get things organized for the first one that I'll be reviewing in this video. So, as we begin the move into Detective Comics 1077, I must point out I will not be covering the backstory in this. That will only happen with the Green Lantern one. So, first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? In some essence it does, but overall I give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's now time to have a look around the beginning, middle and the end in regards to the art that is used in this story and also what's happening with the characters in this story. So as the story begins, we get to see a bit of a Orkham setting up a gallows in Gotham City. And Batman is going to be taken to the gallows. As we jump a little bit further within the story, we also catch up with Jim Gordon along with Mr. Freeze. And we also have the character of Selina Kyle. And last but not least, we move towards the end, to which Azrael begins to make his appearance in Gotham City. So for the internal art, I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story. First things first, considering how far we are in the Detective Comics run, do we have any comic references to any of the previous issues that might be important to read in this story? None at all, though it might help to include it, especially as it sort of feels like this story might be starting to approach the end. Next is the area of time and how time was addressed in this. It had later been used. Next is the area of the location, to which we had Gotham City and also the old Arkham ruins. Hopefully they will bring back the original Arkham Asylum, because I'm getting sick of the idea of the Arkham Tower. Like, seriously, can someone destroy it? Next we have the cast of characters consisting of Batman, Arzen, Jim Gordon, Aiko Hasegawa, we had Kane or Cassandra Kane. We also end up having Solomon Grundy, Cheshire, Catwoman, Mr. Freeze, a character by the name of Niang, and last but not least, the character of Azrael. For the story rating in this, I give a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the Green Lantern by Jeremy Adams. So, as we begin to move into Green Lantern issue 5 by Jeremy Adams, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Now, I mentioned before that this actually has 2 stories in it, and I will be covering the backstory in it because it's done by Peter J. Tomasi, one of my favorite writers at DC Comics, especially because of the Super Sons. So, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that's happening inside with the main story? It does, to which I give a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the art around the beginning, middle, and of course the end, and also the art in relation to the backstory, and also what's happening with those characters. So as the story begins, we have Sinestro doing some attacks on Earth, and of course we return to Coast City, to where Hal Jordan is at, and it's now up to Hal Jordan to also use the power of his ring to take out some things that Sinestro has put around the world. And as we begin to see, he goes to a number of places around the world, one place including being Tokyo in Japan. We get to see him take out the enemy carriers, until last but not least, we see Sinestro using a red lantern ring. So even though he's commonly known for the yellow lantern ring, he's now using a red one, and it is Rage. So jumping towards the end of Green Lantern, we have the story of Korg, as he's still trying to figure out and find out if Sinestro is his old man. We see a little bit more happening with him, and whilst he's doing some things behind the scenes, he finally turns up to hand in some stuff to get some grub. Until last but not least, he gets the trade thrown at him. For the internal art, I give it a 7.5 out of 10, and that goes for both stories. Now it's time to move in relation to both stories in relation to the area of time, location, and also the cast of characters. So first things first, do we get anything in relation to time? No, we don't. The location, we get Coast City, Tucson, Arizona, Tokyo, Japan, Washington, D.C., Moscow, Russia. When we start to move into the backstory, we have Sector 2541, planet Zila, to which Korg is on. The cast of characters consisting of Sinestro, Carol, Hal Jordan, of course, Korg, Duka Buka, and last but not least, Nagath. For the overall story rating for the first one, I give a 7.5 out of 10. I did actually quite enjoy what happened there. But for the second story, I give a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move on to last but not least, World's Finest Teen Titans by Mark Waid. So now we finally move into the last DC issue being covered in this video, and that is World's Finest Teen Titans by Mark Waid. And moving to first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Sure enough it does, to which we learn something in regards to Dick Grayson in this time period, and I give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's now time to move into the internal art and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. As we look at the art around the beginning, middle, and of course the end. So as the story begins, we end up catching up with Kid Flash, Aqualad, and Wonder Girl as they take on one of their villains, until, of course, Robin turns up with the character of Haywire, who we learn is a bit of a hacker. As the story advances, they end up taking on some more of the villains within the story. And yes, there's a bit of an encounter with the Guardian. Until, of course, Dick Grayson reveals his identity to the rest of the Teen Titans. So, for the internal art, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story. So, first things first, does this story cover anything in relation to the area of time, considering how many issues we are in? It does, to which it covers several months ago, which appears now and also later, are also used in regards to the area of time. The locations, we have one of the forts and also the Titan's Lair. The cast of characters consisting of Kid Flash, Wally West, Wonder Girl, Aqualad, of course Robin, Haywire, Charlie Park. We also have a couple of others, Matt Duncan, Speedy, and Artemis. And I've got some terrible writing here. I really need to fix it up. This is why I prefer to use my computer to help with this sometimes. But for the overall rating of the story, I give it an 8 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.